Hello guys and welcome to my first Dicey Dungeons video. In this video I'll be showing you how to win episode 1 and 4 as the warrior shown here. And we're going to start off by going through a tier list, an ideal loadout sort of general guide that will be available in the description to read through yourselves. You don't have to sit and watch this video and watch me quickly scroll through it. And then the second half of the video will be going into a sort of demo run where I'll follow my own tips and I'll go and I'll end up winning in a fairly easy fashion. Not a lot of competition there because this build really does work, and hopefully it can help you win these 2 episodes. Okay then, let's get started with this guide. So we're going to talk about the general loadout. I'm going to talk you through every part that could be a part of this general loadout, all the possible parts you could find throughout the dungeon, show you a couple of example loadouts, and then at the end I will show you me doing a playthrough. So if you might want to just skip on to the playthrough, go ahead. Right, let's get into this. So your general loadout should be one sword equivalent. That should be a 1 sword equivalent, a boomerang, which you want to upgrade your boomerang, so it'll take up a small slot. Sword equivalents are usually large. We'll show you the one exception to that in a minute. 1 utility card. I'll explain basically what that means a little bit later, but that should be small as well. A card for your lower dice rolls, that should be small. And lastly, just 1 other card to do some alternative damage. Potentially you could replace that one with a utility card if the alternative damage cards there are not that easy to find. Okay, so let's get into our sword equivalents. I'm going to start with the broadsword. It's the best since it can take any die and also have an increased effect. As you can see the hammer below, the hammer only has an increased effect on 6, whereas the broadsword will always have the increased effect of adding 2 damage and 3 if you upgrade it. It's basically just a better version of the sword, but it's not really worth adding because it only adds 1 damage point, as I said. Right, we're going to move on to the hammer. The hammer is probably the second most useful card in the whole run through, except for the boomerang. If you upgrade, sorry, not the hammer, I'm getting mixed up with the battle axe. The hammer is useful as well. It's better in some circumstances than the broadsword, because if you upgrade the hammer it only takes up 1 slot, which will then open up a free slot in your inventory to use something else, and it does decent damage anyway. It's just basically a slightly better version of the sword. We're moving on then to the toxic ooze. It does 2 damage, 2 poison damage instead of 1 shock or 1 burn, which means it can be quite useful in that sense. It also works well with the claw, which is an item we'll come on to later, which also adds poison damage, but this one's not usually worth upgrading. Now for the whip, it's good against fire-weak enemies like the Wicker Man. It does have its moments, but yeah, otherwise it's just generally okay. The upgrade's okay, it just does 2 burns. Now the shovel. The shovel does have good situations, but it's slightly below average overall. The upgrade is good, but I don't really know. You'll probably find a better sword equivalent, so you probably won't end up having to need to upgrade that. And then the staff is probably not worth getting because you need to put 2 cards into it, and it does the exact same thing as the whip. Okay, second one is the boomerang. The boomerang is your main form of offense. You don't want to try and use it until it's upgraded unless you're on full health, because it does do quite a lot of damage to yourself, because if you're putting 6s into that, which is what you should really be doing, you're going to take 6 damage every time. When you upgrade it though, you half the amount of damage you take to 3. Don't ever really put anything into it below a 5. 4s do sort of work. Never do a 3 through a 1. And don't buy it from a shop. You're going to get it as a level up reward once you reach level 3. You're going to get a choice. Do you want to go for the spike shield or do you want to go for the boomerang? Always pick the boomerang, remember that. Yeah, you can do 20 to 24 damage with the fury, so this should be your main form of offense as we get to the battle strategy a little bit later on. Now let's move on to the utility. You can take 2 places in place of either a low dice card or an attack. I already mentioned that. It's basically 2 pieces of utility that you're meant to use. You have the spatula, but it's kind of really hard to find, and you can only find it late game, but it is really good, especially if you upgrade it, because you get 3 uses out of it instead of just 1. It can be used to find 6s incredibly easily. You can get 4s easily out of it if you're using battle axe. Works really well. The one you're probably going to find though is bump. Bumps are really common. Almost every run through I've played is just using a bump. If you upgrade it, you get 2 uses out of it, so it's pretty good. The buckler is a good early game weapon. Not weapon, piece of utility that is good for a bit of damage, because then you can use the boomerang a bit more and not worry that much about the damage you're taking. You should probably try and shuffle it out of your deck though before you get to the late game. Chocolate cookie, decent for filling a final slot. In my run through I ended up having it just because I had an extra slot open. I couldn't find anything particularly useful to fill it. It's found very late game, so it can be used to help destroy a final boss. You use a chocolate cookie, use your fury, you hit the boss with 3 boomerangs for 36 damage, and then that's basically half the health gone, and you still have the rest of your turn to go. Counter spell can have its moments. Game. I didn't end up using it in my run. Sorry for that. But it's okay. Not personal preference, but you can use it. Let's do our low number cards then. Start off with the Battle Axe, which is the best possible non-boomerang card. Get the upgraded version as your second upgrade. First upgrade, straight to the boomerang. Second upgrade, you're upgrading your Battle Axe, so it only takes up. So in 2 slots of your inventory, you have a boomerang and a Battle Axe. I think you don't even need any other card. You probably have a decent chance of winning. But this is incredibly useful. And it should be your second Fury priority after your boomerang. So if you can't use a boomerang, say if you're under 6 health, then you should just throw it into your Battle Axe. The Claw works well with Toxic Ooze, not worth upgrading, so just add 1 extra damage. The Taser is okay as well. Upgrading it turns into a good ult attack card because then it goes to max 5, so it does a few other things. The Juggling Ball is really good as well. Problem with it is it's found late game, and one of the problems with the Warrior build, the problem isn't that you don't have enough dice. Normally you have like 1 dice too many, so getting the new dice probably won't make that much of a difference to you. And lastly, the Healing Crystal. It's similar to the Buckler. You can get it nice early games if you're having issues getting the build set up, but it should be dropped unless you have severe issues towards the end. It's a good way to make sure you can keep using the boomerang, because it does heal half the boomerang damage if you're putting 3s into it. And lastly, the Target Shield is basically the same idea as Healing Crystal, just slightly worse version, because you can only add 1 or 2, and this isn't like a Thief build where you're getting loads of 1s, so it won't make that much of a difference, the fact that it's reusable. Alternative attack cards, the Battle Axe, it's the same deal as before. Second of all is a Snowball. It's very easy to find and does some good damage, allows you to get rid of your 5s and 3s, and it's just nice to help complete your build. Yeah, decent card. Crystal Sword is a very hard card to find. If you get an upgrade onto it, perfect. You have a 3 times damage. If you use a Fury on that, maybe with a Chocolate Cookie, you're going to be absolutely in business. You'll be able to hit the enemy for, God, quick maths off the top of my head. If you Furied, you hit him for 30 damage in 1 attack and take 0, so that's really, really good. But yeah, you can't find that really. And the Pea Shooter, I don't know why I put this in. It's not a good card generally, but I suppose you can use it, but try not to. I mean, if you're really stuck and just have an empty slot, just throw it in if you want to do a bit more damage. The cards to avoid throughout your run will be the Iron Shield. It's just not worth it for a large slot. The Nightstick is just a generally bad card you should never use. Blight, this isn't a poison build. First Aid Kit, takes too many dice to be useful. And the Detonator is not really that useful anyway. It's only useful in a really pure poison build, which this is not. Cards that are okay but don't fit the build. Snake Eye Charm helps you get 1s. We don't really need 1s throughout this. The Midnight Charm helps you get 6s but requires 10. You could just throw those 5s into the boomerang or whatever. Lightning Rod can have its moments, but not really this sort of thing. Shriek is added to curse your opponents, not really worth it. 6 Shooter, I was really tempted to put in the cards to avoid, but I guess you can use it in some builds. Shield Bash is good for a shield build, it's in a shield build. Spike Shield is a good card. The problem is it's slightly worse than the sword, and you're picking the boomerang instead. So let's go on to the strategy. This is your loadout strategy, okay? So you're going to fight through the first 2 floors, picking up all the chests you can, hoping to try and get pieces for your loadout. Don't try and get the boomerang. We're going to get the boomerang from leveling up. Okay? So whenever you level up, it should say level up instead of upgrade screen. You're going to choose Spike Shield or Boomerang. You pick the boomerang. Okay, keep working on fighting through the next third floor. Let's say floor 3. Floor 3, you'll find an upgrade station. That's where you're going to upgrade your boomerang, so it only does 3 damage to you. And this is where this build starts to get into business. Try and replace your sword. Remember to replace your sword at some point throughout the run. There's plenty of alternatives. You'll definitely find one. Okay, and then when you get to your second upgrade station, you should use it on either a Battle Axe or hammer if you have one. If not, a bump or a spatula. If you don't have any of them either, then try and pick a piece of the ideal loadout. So any of the ones I've just listed above, and you should follow that advice for subsequent upgrades after that. Just look at the tier list of hammer, Battle Axe, bump, spatula, anything else. Okay, whenever you get a chance to upgrade, like whenever you level up again, you'll get a shield bash, an extra die, or an upgrade. I'd go for the upgrade, it's very useful. And then you get to the final boss, you have a quick fight, and should be over in 2 or 3 turns, and you should win. Now, battle tips. Now finish off. Start by trying to get a 6 for your upgraded boomerang, failing that a 5. But if you have a 4, don't get rid of your 4. These are basically on the level. So if you have a 4 for your Battle Axe, just throw it straight in your Battle Axe. You're not going to be using that for anything else. Try and find a 5 or 6, throw it into your upgraded boomerang. Then try to get a highest number as possible for your sword upgrade. You should normally be getting a 5 or a 6 in that as well. If you have a Fury, try to use it on your boomerang. Simple enough, yeah. Filling out a battle axe, if you're low HP, you can't do it in your boomerang. Just throw it in the battle axe, it'll work. If you don't have a battle axe, throw it in your sword equivalent, do decent damage as well. Avoid using the boomerang if you can kill an enemy in one turn without it. Just have to do a bit of maths in your head for this one, and it's also very good because you avoid then taking the 3 damage yourself, or 6 if you're using Fury. And lastly, never use a 2, a 3, or a 1 in an upgraded boomerang, because the damage to you is not worth the risk. Okay, this is a nice looking average loadout. So you can see here we have the ult damage, the utility, the low dice, the boomerang, and the broadsword as our sword equivalent. And then this is the best possible loadout. You'll note there's no broadsword, even though it's the best sword equivalent, but just because I could get this down to 1 slots. So we have utility, we actually have 2 ult damages, because we've managed to upgrade the sword equivalent to be a 1 slotter, so we can get crystal sword in. Battle axe and a boomerang are the 2 key cards here. And that's going to conclude that. We're going to wrap this bit up, and we're going to get straight into a run through, talking through all my decisions as it happens. Hope you enjoy that. Okay, then you've seen the tier list. I'm going to be implementing it here on the elimination round because the enemies are slightly harder to show the strength of this build. Let's get right into it then.
Stiggly!
I'll be talking you through every step of the way, making sure you know why I'm doing everything. Start with fighting the enemy covering the jet, as you should always do regardless of the situation. I'll be killing all the enemies trying to get max level in this run. Probably should just kept re-rolling there, but you have to kill this guy in 3 turns anyway, so I'm not going to bother. Gardener's not one of the best characters in the elimination round. He's a little bit annoying because he can constantly just weaken you, because he weakens on even, which means it's very easy for him to... It's basically a 50-50 chance on whether he weakens you or not. Oh, a battle axe, that's very good. That's going straight in our loadout, even though I suppose we only have 2 things. But battle axe is one of the best items you can get for this run. Arguably the best item. It and the boomerang will be the crux of our offense for the rest of... I'm going to save my Fury because we will get this win anyway. Can maybe Fury someone on the next floor. So I'm now upgraded, leveled up, and I'm on full HP. Let's see. Who's the hardest person? Marshmallow or Pirate? We'll go Pirate. We'll just kill the Pirate. Let's try and roll into a 4. Didn't get the 4, so I'm not going to be able to use my battle axe. Pirate's quite a hard enemy that you can get in your 2nd floor, probably one of the worst ones. Sneezy's also up there. Come on, give me a 4. 3, that'll do. Do 12 with that. And then 6 with that. Messed up trying to go for 4s maybe, but oh well. This should be a win anyway. Got another Fury to burn as well. Yeah, it messes up a fair bit, but I don't think it'll matter in the end. We're gonna have to face Starry Hood. Try and get that apple. Sorry, we'll level up anyway. Let me talk you through everything in the shop. Target shield is normally quite useful. Well, dagger's not really. There's things that are better than dagger, i.e. the taser. But I'm actually going to I'm going to take the taser just for now, because it's only 2 gold. But the battle axe will normally replace the taser in your build. Okay, stereo head time. I have to try and kill him quite quickly. Right, Fury on the battle axe. 3, 1. It's gonna take me 2 turns to kill him anyway. Right, this is the turn I have to kill him on. And we do that successfully. When it comes to your first reward screen, every single time you should be picking Boomerang. The spike shield is basically a worse version of the sword, with the shield effect doesn't really do much and it just ends up being a bit annoying, so go Boomerang. But we're not going to use the Boomerang yet. It will go straight into our loadout just because we've got nothing else, but it does a lot of damage to you and you can't really afford to take that much damage. See, now we've picked up a bump. I'm going to take the Boomerang out for now, okay? And we'll go fight the Marshmallow. The Boomerang will go straight back into our loadout though and place up the Taser whenever we get an upgrade. Probably not worth the risk re-rolling, try and get a 3. Another perfect 6 and a 4. Oh, I shouldn't have unburned myself. Shouldn't have burnt myself there. We're gonna win anyway. Back to full health though, so it won't matter. Right, our next port of call will be looking for the upgrade station. So we're going to fight the wizard because he's easier than the bully, and we're going straight over to the upgrade station to upgrade our Boomerang. Wizard's quite easy, bully's quite hard, so was really a bit of an easy choice. Let's try and roll for 4. In fact, we can upgrade. We can bump that into this into a 4 instead. We'll just leave the Taser out. We'll Fury on that battle axe, just get us over it quick. That's good that we did that because he's going to freeze everything now, so. Let's roll these, try and get them a little bit higher. 5. Okay, make that a 6. And another 5. Okay, it's a little bit annoying. Not quite good. Why did I put that there? I should just put it in the battle axe mode one. Sorry, misplay. No, he didn't do anything anyway, so we're fine. And this would have been a much better loadout. I echoed my mistake by putting it in the same place as last time. Straight over to the backpack, we're upgrading our Boomerang. So this will be your main attack, combined with the battle axe. Your main attack. I'm tempted to take the sword out. The sword will be going out of our loadout at some point anyway. Do I take the sword out? Or the Taser? Take the Taser out, put the Boomerang. So I suppose you can use the sword with any dice, whereas the Boomerang's just with the low numbers. Okay, my patience and faith has been rewarded. We're going to get the broadsword because it's just a better version of the sword. You don't need another Boomerang. The claw is normally good, but it's 4 gold and we already have the Taser, which basically does the same thing, and we've not got any other poison cards, so we're going to go broadsword. Obviously just straight replace the sword. Not really much thought needed there. We've got a pretty good loadout already. The plan is to try and find an upgrade for the hammer. For the battle axe, sorry, so it only takes up 1 slot, which will allow us to get 1 more card into our loadout. Hopefully something. Let's get a nice higher number than a 2. 4, it's fine. Let's try and kill the copycat as fast as you can, because he's got your loadout, but it's slightly better. He didn't Boomerang me there? He could have won. That's the problem, is I'm almost a victim of my own success. Don't need to Boomerang. Take a kill, get the HP from the level up, take the extra damage, and bully time. Check what this is first. A chocolate cookie. If we upgrade our hammer, if we upgrade the battle axe, we'll put the chocolate cookie into our loadout. Normally chocolate cookie is one of the ones that's borderline not good enough for the build, because you already have the ability to use Fury, but we could just end up putting it in because we've got no other small card that would really do anything simple. There's enough apples to put that with a Boomerang on the Fury on the Boomerang, sorry. Should be able to kill him this turn as well. Perfect. Only 6 damage taken as well, it's a very successful fight. Let me have a little glance here, is there anything worth taking? No. No point taking the second Boomerang, probably won't get an upgrade for it. Oh, there's a rotten apple. Take out Loudbird first, just because Loudbird's pretty annoying. Loudbird, probably the most annoying enemy in the game. I don't know why I didn't flip the 1. Try and do as much damage on your first turn before you can do his tricks. with all his fun stuff. I don't know if that's it's actually a decent loadout. You can use everything and a fair bit of weekend. So now we've got no reroll and we've got an awful start. I'll upgrade that to do a 3 damage, but we'll avoid taking the 3 damage ourselves. Do that in there. So he's down to 11 HP. We'll probably just be able to just about grind him out of this. And we'll be able to have the Fury to take on the Poison Jar. Oh, he didn't silence us this time, so it should be easy. Try and reroll and get a 3. Not quite, 2 will do. Didn't need to waste my Fury. That could have gone a lot worse. We're still 21 HP. Should be good to kill the Haunted Jar without much trouble. Want that. Fury on. What should we Fury on? We don't have that much HP to burn, so I'm gonna Fury on the Battle Axe. Could have done it on the Broadsword, wouldn't have made any difference. Oh, I could kill him if I can roll 6. Oh, beautiful. I can't count. Probably should have just Furied on the Boomerang. He's not going to be able to do anything really. Yeah, we got out of that fairly easily. Okay, one fight away from a level up, and that fight will be up against the Rotten Apple. A claw would normally be useful. We're not going to use it this time because we already have the taser, and we didn't use the taser because we already have the battle axe, the boomerang, and the broadsword, which are all very good offensive options. A couple of HP boost before we take the Rotten Apple. Since we're going to level up after this one, I'm just going to go all with the boomerang. And because he's got that awful half your HP attack, which can be detrimental, which is why you should always fight him just before you level up. No, just go full on. Use the boomerang as well, who cares? Take our 4 XP, level up to level 5, and now we get a choice: Shield Bash or Upgrade Equipment. Every single time go for Upgrade Equipment because we're not running a shield build, okay? Upgrade the Battle Axe. Chocolate Cookie, and you come, because we already have the low one, so we don't need a taser or a claw because we already have the low dice options as well as 2 high dice options, and then we just throw whatever else in the Chocolate Cookie. Don't think we'll be putting much in. May as well take that deal because the sword isn't great. So we have shovel, sword, shovel instead of the sword. Now we're not going to use the shovel. Normally you might use the shovel, but we've got really blessed with our equipment this run, so we're not going to. I'm gonna kill the Rhino Beetle and have a little look and see what's in the shop. He's quite a good opponent, but we've got basically everything we want: a Fury in the can and everything. So a lot of enemies to kill here, not a lot of HP to do so. So I might just Fury on the broadsword. Upgrade and just do one boot. In with the 8. We'll re-roll this, try and get a little bit higher. Nope, it's not gonna let it. Taking 10. Rhino Beetle's an incredibly difficult opponent, but it's one we should be able to surpass here fairly easy, without much complication, and we do. $29 HP, we should still be fine to fight the next character. A Shriek isn't going to be worth it at all. Don't buy Shrieks, because Curse is not. I'm not a big fan of using Curse personally. We'll buy the other 2 things because this is the last shop we'll come to throughout the whole thing. So we have a choice: broadsword, chocolate cookie, or bump. I'm going to use it on the bump because we get double the amount of uses of it. It's basically like getting an extra card. And I suppose the 1 damage doesn't make a big difference. And the chocolate cookie, we could still end up replacing that with a better card if there's one in that chest, which there probably isn't, but we'll leave things as they are. We'll fight the gargoyle, we'll upgrade the other piece of equipment, which will be the broadsword. And then we'll see what we're going to do from there. And then we'll take some HP boost probably. Looking for 3 or 4 here. 4 will do. He's going to lock 2 of our dice, but I think we'll manage. Especially since we can do this. We can throw our 6 in the bump to get 2 new dice. Remember that trick? Because it's very useful. Let's send them into next week. Gargoyle quite easy. Can sometimes have his moments when he's got upgraded equipment, but not today. Probably leave the upgrades actually for now and come back to them once we fought the other 2. Don't really need a HP up yet. Oh, I may as well take one. Take the one from the shop. Direwolf poison build. Got a fair bit of HP, but it's normally not that difficult. Try and get something higher. Perfect. So we'll be able to double Fury if he... Well, he's not even going to make 2 turns after this, but... he might. Too tempted to just throw that in there. Ah, no, we'll leave that one. So we're just going to throw a Fury straight out of the Banshee. Take our little bit of extra health for that fight. So here we go then, get our final chest and fight our final normal enemy for the boss fight. Here we go. And what am I going to Fury on? I suppose the health doesn't really matter, so I may as well get the boomerang. Stop this a little bit. So we can just throw it in the chocolate cookie. Not that it'll end up mattering. Hopefully we don't get cursed and silenced. Oh, we are going to get cursed and silenced, aren't we? Oh no, this could get annoying. Don't think we're going to lose though. I'll throw this in the bump. Okay, that's a good way of checking for curse. Well, you know your curse, sorry, for getting rid of your curses is just throwing things in bumps or lockpicks or something similar. Spatulas. Max level, beat all the opponents, get our extra dice. Look at our final chest. It's going to be a counter spell if enemy rolls. The dice is locked. I am tempted to throw that in. It's semi-decent. It's probably a little bit worse than the chocolate cookie, so we might just leave it. I think I'm going to reduce the countdown on the chocolate cookie instead of changing the broadsword, because the 1 extra damage won't make that much of a difference. Final boss time. This is where we get Drake, and I'm going to end up having to change my build. Okay, Buster. That's fine, because he's really strong against fire, and we don't have any fire going on. Don't really need the locks. Yeah, we should be good to go. Don't think we have a Fury ready to go, which is a little bit annoying, but... oh, we do. That's good. Let's try and get through as much of his HP as quickly as possible, so we'll use the boomerang. Oh, perfect. We're really low on the chocolate cookie, but I don't know if he'll make another turn. So we might not end up having a chance to use it. But we're going to get a Fury this turn, yes, so it's basically over. Assuming we do the same damage again, which we probably should be able to. Find a 6 somewhere. Oh, we found one. Boomerang him into next one. And one more time. Oh, I didn't do it one more time. It doesn't matter anyway. Broadsword. Bit of an anticlimactic finish. Well, that's just about going to wrap things up. Thank you guys for watching. If you want me to make more of these, then I'll happily do so. I think there's not a lot of guides out there in this sort of sense, not in terms of videos anyway, so I'm happy to help everyone out. I'm going to do maybe episode 2 of The Warrior next, because it's just going to be a short one. It's very similar to this, just a little bit of extra information with regards to being cursed throughout it. So if you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe if you're interested. I'm going to make more Dicey Dungeons videos. I'm probably going to make more CSGO videos as well. One last time, thank you for watching and have a good day.